Hey, I'm Kevin, and let me tell you a little bit about my family story, specifically my Italian roots. My great-grandfather, Andrea Guido, came over to the United States of America from Italy by boat at the age of 9 years old. He came over with his brothers and father to make a better life for their family. He grew up in the Bronx, where he found work as a fruit and vegetable peddler. Ciao, America! Since Andrea was so young coming to America for the first time, he never learned to read and write. He was made to do errands by the nuns in the school due to his illiteracy. Andrea, bring this outside to man. As my great-grandfather Andrea got older, he went on to fight in World War I in Europe. Go America! After Andrea came home from the war, he found out that the love of his life lived right across the street from him. Mamma mia! Her name was Angelina, my great-grandmother. Angelina's parents only spoke Italian, so she knew Italian and English, so she could communicate perfectly with Andrea. The two fell madly in love short after, and got married. Angelina was raised knowing that family comes first, but food was a pretty close second. If there was one thing that my great-grandmother Angelina loved more than her family, was definitely making gravy. When my grandmother was born, Angelina let her know how important gravy was to their family. Mama, what are you making? I'm making delicious gravy. This recipe has been in our family for years. Hopefully one day I can teach it to you and you could pass it down as well. You would never walk into this household without smelling the gravy or seeing the pots that she used to make this, which came directly from Italy, lying around the house. Growing up in the Bronx, Grandma Lucy found the love of her life similarly to the way that her parents did, right across the street from her. His name was Cornelius Coleman, my grandfather. He had a bit of a rough upbringing as his parents both died when he was young. He had to be raised by his two eldest sisters, which were of such a large age difference than him that they were old enough to be his parents. It was anything but love at first sight, at least for my grandmother. My grandfather, on the other hand, was in love with her from the second he saw her. But my grandmother, she wanted nothing to do with him originally. So what did he go and do? He went and got friendly with her parents. My grandmother would often walk into her home to see Grandpa Neil and her parents having dinner and talking together. They loved my grandfather so much and went on to encourage my grandmother to give him a chance. They finally fell in love and went on to get married. My grandfather was part German, part Irish, part English, and a wannabe part Italian. As he grew up, he fought in World War II as a navigator bombardier on the B-17 bomber plane, Lady Stardust. He was involved in his plane being shot down, which crash-landed in the English Channel. He fortunately survived, unlike some of his crew members and close friends, to tell his stories. After surviving and helping in winning the war, my grandfather and grandmother decided to move in together in an apartment in the Bronx. They eventually moved to New Jersey, where they raised my mother and her sister, both of which were taught how important Italian gravy was to our family. It had to be made from scratch, and it had to be called gravy, not sauce. It's me, Kevin, again. This story is getting pretty long, and I'm over the time limit, so I'll just sum it up from here. My mom went on to marry my father. When they first met, he was studying to be a priest. My father taught CCD classes, and my mother taught middle school classes. They both had some of the same students in their classes. The students encouraged them to meet, and they finally did. Once my father decided to leave the priesthood to be with my mother, they went on to have 3 kids, my sister, brother, and I. We live fairly close to New York City, So we are very welcoming and accepting of all cultures that we see and meet. All in all, I'm very proud of my Italian heritage, and I am excited to learn how to make gravy the traditional way, how my relatives have. Remember, it's gravy and not sauce. Cue the Italian music.